Well, the wedding guest list got a little bit shorter. This week on Love is Blind, two couples call it quits in the most dramatic way possible. And we have to talk about it, every messy detail. Let's get into it. Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Jack and Glenn channel. Before I get started, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit that bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Today, I'm reviewing Love is Blind, episode number 10 and 11. What a mess here, right? Hey, let's get into it. Here it goes. Hey, episode 10, Runaway Groom, right? This episode focuses on the couple's interaction with their families and friends, which brings several underlying issues to a breaking point. Hey, Nick and Annie. This episode revisits their after rodeo event, right? And Annie is drinking. Look, we talk about Joe getting drunk. We talk about being sauced up. Annie stays sauced up, right? And every time her and Nick have an argument, she's sauced, right? She's heavily intoxicated and repeatedly tells Nick it's just dumb how much I love you, right? Accusing him of not loving her as much. Yo, didn't she do this in Cabo, wherever they went, with Cabo, Baja, or wherever they went to Mexico, right? She did this thing again. The man shows you he loves you, right? This triggers Nick's, right? Nick is triggered. You can see that Nick is like, yo, he's done with it. Trying to calm her down, try to keep peace, trying to be relaxing, but she is just sloppy drunk. She is sloppy, slurring her words, her hair is all over the place. Look, yeah, hair's all. I'm not gonna mess with that lady's tracks. But here's all over the place, right? Nick says her behavior reminds him of their fight in Cabo, and he does not want to deal with it at all, right? Here it is. I'm going to just do every couple all together. I'm not going to see my scene, so here it is. Later, Nick confronts the issue directly, tell Annie, hey, getting to the altar is not a happy idea for him, right? Annie does something that I thought Marissa was bad. Like, Marissa from last season, she cried and boohooed. Well, at least she didn't beg, right? She begged a little bit, but not like Annie. Annie was begging. Well, can we just? No. Annie begs, please just try, right? Insisting she'll be a great wife and mom. Nick held his ground. Nick stayed 10 toes down. Nick was like, nope. Mm-mm. How can you have love for me, right? And every time you say you have love for me, you said I don't have love for you. It was confusing, right? It was confusing. But Nick was like, no, not gonna do it. She texts her mom. I think she texts her uncle or whoever the case may be. She texts family member, says over, just begging. Nick said, we're not getting married because I'm not happy. Basically, I'm not happy with you. Translation, I don't like when you get sloppy drunk. I don't like when you talk over me. I don't like when you put words in my mouth. I don't like when you say that I don't love you and I'm trying to tell you I love you. Hey, did we see? I don't think anybody saw this lasting anyway, right? It was just me. That I thought Nick and Annie wouldn't gonna last. I thought Annie was Nick's second thought, not his first choice. So I was just waiting for this one to blow up, right? It blew up. She begged. She played it. She cried. Like, what are you doing? Don't embarrass me. You embarrass yourself by getting sloppy drunk and talking nonsense out of your mouth. Your insecurity showed when you got drunk. Done deal. All right. Then we move on to Anton and Ally. They return home from the rodeo or the meetup or whatever you want to call it, the party, the pod squad, meeting with other couples, right? Ally immediately brings up Anton's drinking. Now, both of them was drinking, right? She confronts him about finishing a 12-pack of Coors or in a half a bottle of tequila. Right? He said, nah, man, my friend was here and he came up and, my friend was here and we drunk a couple. Then she said, well, he was in an apartment? Was he here? No. I took the drinks downstairs. Ally, that man, his best friend, you think his best friend wouldn't come up to the apartment and they'd crack a couple beers together and drink a little tequila? No, he was up there. You might want to do some investigating. Do you have any more toilet paper? Was the seat left open? Toilet seat left up. Dude was in that apartment. I don't care what he says, right? Where's the footage? They recorded. This should be like Married at First Sight. You know, Married at First Sight had the cameras in the apartment. Aren't they the same company? Like, the same company produced both shows. Like, y'all don't have the cameras in apartments on Love is Blind, but you got it on Married at First Sight. Come on. Let us see the guy, his friend in the apartment, and show that Anton was lying. Anyway, Anton becomes highly defensive, right? He denies he has a problem with drinking, and it's not a pattern. You have a problem with drinking. She talked about that in the last episode, how he comes home and just drinks, and she doesn't want nobody like that, right? And he drinks. Now, mind you, he said, you drinking too, but not as much as you, because he drinks a lot. He drinks a lot, right? There's a concern, right? To me, I was like, she's like calling this dude alcoholic, that he really has a problem, that he really has a big, big problem, that he really tremendously was an alcoholic. Yeah. I'm kind of glad they fixed that up a little bit. Not fixed it, but yeah, Anton tried to gaslight about deflecting, right? Bringing up that she also drinks and that she hasn't been cleaning around the house. And he's like, does it always look like this? Like, you never clean up? Like, she's like, no, I'll never clean up during the week while I'm working. I just throw stuff everywhere. That's a problem. Put your clothes in a hamper. Put it in the bathroom. Put it in the laundry room. Just don't throw your stuff all over the place, Ally. Anyway, later, Ally meets Anton's mom, Natalie, which reassures her and reminds her why she fell for him in the first place. Seeing the mom and talking to Anton's mom, Ally became reassured that, you know what, this might actually work, but he still has a drinking problem in my eyes, right? I make me think about Virginia from Married at First Sight Atlanta, but I digress. So I'll move on. All right. Hey, then we go to Joe and Madison. This is a critical scene here, right? That where Joe meets Madison's family. Joe immediately makes an awkward impression by telling Madison's mom, right? They asked him, what was the first word? What's the first thing? Give me one word that describes my daughter. The first word out of this man's mouth was crazy. Not beautiful, not loving, not caring, not kind, not happy, not insert good word. The first word out of your partner's mouth is describe my daughter is crazy. There's a problem, right? No one likes to be with crazy. Nobody wants to marry crazy. Nobody wants to date crazy. People stay in relationships with crazy, but you don't want to date or marry. You don't want to marry them, right? He then tells the story of his previous 5-year relationship, admitting he called off the wedding right before he was supposed to mail in invitations. Red flag here, clue here. If the man called off a 5-year relationship wedding, you don't think he's going to call off a wedding that he just met the girl about a month ago? Yeah, right? Madison Moms brings up her daughter's potential eyesight loss and asks Joe directly if he's willing to support her through it. He looks at her dead in the eye, looked her in the face, did not bat an eye, did not wink, didn't blink twice, and said, I am. Well, and she asks, are you going to last minute my daughter? And Joe says, no, ma'am, I'm not going to last minute your daughter at all. We're not going to have this issue. We're not even going to have this problem. I'm going to be good to your daughter. Wink, wink, believe their Joe, right? As I told you, I'm going to do all the couples together. Hey, while they were doing the tuxedo fitting, Joe got overwhelmed, right? He got overwhelmed. His friend asked him basic questions about his readiness. He crashes out. He tells producers, I got to get the F out of here. I can't do this. He abruptly leaves, right? He becomes the runaway groom. He gets in his truck, and Joe is gone. Joe is gone. We'll pick up Joe and Madison in episode 11 when I get there, but Joe is gone. Joe leaves, which we know what that means. He ain't coming back. All right, move on. Hey, then we go to KB and Edmond, right? KB and Edmond, they rehash their fight from the pod squad or the meetup with the other couples. KB gives us more detail of why she was really mad at Edmond for saying that she never gives him she never gives him compliments or affirm him. But now we see that Edmond likes to have affirmation, right? Edmond wants to be affirmed. Edmond wants to be loved. Edmond wants to be liked. But KB says this. She brings up the elephant. She said, I was going to bring up the elephant in the room, right? She means, in other words, I'm going to be direct. I'm going to tell you straightforward or what the issue is. Let's talk about it. She explains her side of the story about how she's running around all day long trying to get stuff together for the Pod Squad meetup or the rodeo theme that they were having. She asked Edmond to go to Ross's, which is 7 minutes down the road, right? And he said, oh, no, I can't do that. And refuses to go. Couldn't help her out. So she's running around getting stuff, and then he don't want to be late. Well, you do know if she gets home late and she's running around, that she's gonna be late as well, right? They said they were arguing in the car, but she said, no, I forgave that crap. When we got into the rodeo, started having a good time, or we got into the meetup, we started having a good time. I forgave you. Boom. Did I hear you talking crap, but I don't affirm you? And plus, they was both full liquored up. Again, alcohol plays a lot in these conversations. And she's like, no, I want a man. I want someone to take the load off my shoulders. I want a man that helps me burden. All right, helps me. I don't want a man to create extra burden. Right? Edmond deflects, going on a rant about how she never says anything nice to him. Right? It's like she's talking to a child, and I'm not calling him a child. But the way her conversations, the way her tone, her inflections, the way she's explaining to him in conversation to him, it's like she's talking to a kid. All right? They need to learn how to communicate. Well, she does communicate, but I don't know if he fully understands where she's coming from. Because again, when he kept saying, I love you, I love you, I love you while they was talking, that's deflection. That's love bombing. Address the issue, right? I love you doesn't fix everything. Saying I love you doesn't fix everything. Address the issue. The issue is that you was mad. She was already mad at you. Y'all blew up again. And the crap that you were saying, like, oh, I want her to do this. How can she affirm you if you can't even help go down the store, go to the road, go down the road for 7 minutes and pick up something from the Ross or from the store? Hey, marriage is about compromise. It's about submitting one to another. It's about working with one another. All right. Anyway, they eventually make up in episode 10. We'll get to more of them in episode 11, right? We see Megan and Jordan. They have a positive visit with Jordan's parents, who gave their blessings. Jordan's father offers advice that marriage takes 10% love. I think it was 10% love or 20% love and 80% commitment. One of those two things, something like that. Megan was really impressed with Jordan's family, right? She mentioned that she wants to do this thing. She wants to be 100% in. Nothing really much with them in episode number 10. It's just that they met each other's parents, and it was cool, right? But the biggest thing was that everybody went tuxedo shopping, and I already told you, Joe went home. Joe went home, and hey, that closed episode 10 with Joe leaving off, Joe going home. Boom. Episode number 11, right? All right, episode number 11 was entitled Don't Go Breaking My Heart. This episode it goes right into the Joe and Madison fallout. This episode opened with Madison on the phone with her mom crying. Joe left, he's gone. All right, I guess he had returned after Chuck's fitting on to tell her that he was gone. Right, they're not going to the altar. They bring Joe back in, have a conversation with Madison. All right, they sat down together, and Joe explains, I tried to continue the process as long as I could, but it's just not right, right? We all knew. How many of y'all, raise your hand if you thought Joe was going to marry Madison anyway, or Joe was right for Madison? Anybody? Raise your hand. Raise your hand. Okay, I have no hands. How many thought Joe was going to say no to Madison, even if they made it to the altar? Raise your hand. Okay, I got it. Raise your hand. All right, if someone else, all right, Madison asked if there's someone else. Like, oh, we just had to meet up. Now, is there someone else? Joe said, nah, ain't nobody else. Joe is simply not attracted to her, right? He's just not attracted to her. Remember, Joe said, you're not, what did he say in Cabo? He usually date people who's smaller than her, right? It was attracted to her. He got sloppy drunk. If I was Madison the night he got drunk, sloppy drunk, I'd have been like, deuces, this ain't for me, right? All right. She just sitting there. He's like, yo, I don't think we should drag this on. All right. I know that you're not the one. All right. Madison was heartbroken. All right. Even though she was heartbroken, she got to maintain her composure, telling him, I'm glad I went through the journey with you. Are you really? I think she might be honest. I think she might be honest that she really went through the journey with him, but that's not the way she wanted to end. She took her glasses off one time, put her glasses back on, took them off, put them on. Nah, I'm not gonna say that joke. Nope. I thought I had a joke. I thought I was about to say she ain't see that coming, but that's not good. Let's move on. They go snowmobiling, and then we go to Edmond and KB Calabria. They go snowmobiling. All right, and the piece doesn't last long. They get into a massive argument, right? Where KB accused Edmond of being fake, right? For the cameras, putting it on for the gram, right? Yeah, be putting it on for the gram and being dismissive, right? Here it is. They both says, "Oh, you always cut me off. You always cut me off." I can go into a video about cutting somebody off because I used to do this with Jack. but I've learned a long time ago how to allow someone to speak. Right, just sit there, be quiet. I'm not gonna forget my point. Trust me. Right, we're in a discussion. I'm gonna let you get your point across. Are you done? Cool. You done? Yep. Let's move. Yo, this fight escalates until KB violates. Right. KB calls him a B. You acting like a B. She always assaults this. She wants somebody masculine or be a leader. All right. But then you can't call the man that you want to marry a B because you emasculate him. You take away his power here by calling him a B. You call him a B, yo, you should never do that, right? It should never happen, right? And I don't see the internet getting on her for doing that. Yo, I'm gonna get on her for doing that. Stop calling men B's, right? Yo, that's not cool, right? Because a man can't call a female a B when y'all get and it's cool. Either vice versa. When you're in a relationship, stop cursing at each other. Stop complaining. Stop. Just stop. Have a conversation. Get your point across, as she said in episode 10. Hey, shoot the elephant in the room or talk about the elephant in the room. But you can do all that. You can argue that without having to call people names, especially calling the guy B. That's totally disrespectful. All right. Later on, Edmond comes to the apartment with flowers and gives her a genuine apology for his behavior. Right. KB accepts his apology for cursing at him. She says she admits she shouldn't have said that. She was outside of her character. She was frustrated. She also said she considered throwing her ring off the mountain. Hey, we don't throw jewelry away. We're not. What would you throwing a ring for? Better keep that like what was the other girl that one girl, the girl that Patrick was with, Casey. She kept that ring. She didn't give it back to Casey. And she didn't give it back to Patrick. Better keep that ring. Anyway, they make up. They have a conversation. They make up. I think they're gonna go to the altar, but I don't see this lasting. Somebody's gonna say no, in my opinion, right? Then we see Megan and Joe, Megan and Jordan. They're packing up their apartment. The core conflicts explode. The core conflict here explode. Right? Megan complains that she always trying to talk to Jordan, and Jordan's not talking. She feel like she's talking to a wall, or she feel like she's talking to herself. Jordan says she's abrasive, right? And he's too stressed for work to talk about it. She wants to have a conversation with him. She wants to have, hey, how was your day? What's going on? Hey, this sucks, right? When you come home, you do want to have a conversation with somebody. You want to hug somebody. But if a person's been on a job talking all day, they don't want to talk. They don't want to converse. Sometimes some people are sitting in the car 10, 15 minutes to decompress. Let's have conversations about other stuff. Let's talk about all these things. But let's not talk. I don't want to talk about the job. I don't know who I see here, right? I can see it both ways. Talk to me. Don't let me feel like I'm alone. She's like, look, the reason I fell in love with you is because we talked. That is true. Love is Blind was all about talking, right? They talked for hours in the pods. And then when you get together, you don't talk. We hear crickets. That's not right. Not at all, right? So I get it from Jordan's side, from Megan's side. Like we don't talk like we don't talk like we used to talk anymore. You have to have conversation, right? Communication has to be there. Doesn't have to be about the job. Hey, tell her I had a rough day. So-and-so, Bob, Jim, whoever, maybe mad, my customers, my clients. Right now, I don't want to talk about it. I want to relax. Can't be that every day, but at least open her and let her into your world, right? The argument quickly pivots to their deep financial and lifestyle differences, right? Joe rants about her life playing tennis and going to Italy and doing all those things and desire to have a nanny. He don't desire to have a nanny. He wants to raise his own kids. She has the money to go play tennis and she can work from anywhere. She has the money to have a nanny, right? If they have kids, they talk about the nanny. That's one thing I missed for episode 10. Her mom asked Jordan about the vasectomy. Could it be reversed? Yes, it could be reversed. And he's going to get it reversed and try to have kids. He then delivers a low blow. You did all these things, all right, with these rich business guys, and it never worked. That's why you chose me, implying he was her safe, right? Her safety net, implying that he was her safe zone, right? Her safe option. Look, man, she cared about you. She could have went with Mike. Mike even wants her. Probably in the DMs right now. But she chose Jordan. Jordan, hey, I think the money issue, diverse in money, different lifestyles, may be difficult for him, right? Him and his Kia and whatever flashy car she drives. He has to understand he's dating somebody with money who has a different lifestyle. And he's probably gonna have to accept that, or they're gonna have to meet a common balance somewhere, right? Because she wants $2 million homes. He can't fathom a $2 million home just leaving from the apartment that he was just in. But We'll see what they say when they get to the altar, right? They get to a final couple, Ally and Anton. They have a couple. They had a couple brief scenes, right? Anton is late meeting Ally's mom, who gives them OG wisdom. She gives them some great wisdom, right? Some great wisdom about prioritizing partnership over friendship. They are later seen riding a horse together, horse and carriage, I think, as they went to the city, came up on a little campsite where they sit there and they have a mature conversation about fighting for their marriage, right? Or leaving the relationship if it isn't working, right? The issue is, the really major issue is drinking, but that issue never comes back up in this episode, right? That's the only fight we really see them have, was the issue with him drinking. And while they're sitting down having this conversation over campfire, it never comes up. Do they and can they work out? I believe so, but there has to be some honesty here, some truth here. I like Ally and Anton, but at the end of the day, if your relationship is built on a lie, then it's a lie. All right, has to be built on truth, has to be built on honesty. But we'll see, right? Episode 12 is coming up, and we got three couples who are on the way to the altar. We got Ally and Anton, we got Megan and Jordan, we got KB and Edmond. Joe and Madison is done. Nick is done. Nick and Annie is done. 3 couples. Hey, let me know in the comment section below. Who do you think gonna say yes? Who do you think gonna say no? And let us know why. Hey, thanks for listening. Make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification so you don't miss any of our reviews. Share this with somebody else. Talk to you later. Peace.